Hello, everyone. How are you feeling today? Wonderful. So let us talk about the evergreen subject, ever evolving subject, emotional intelligence. It is really important for not only the leaders, but every stakeholders in the organization to go forward and to have a better relationship. So let us see how emotional intelligence is important. What are all the impediments for emotional intelligence? If people are not emotionally intelligent, no problem. So we can develop emotional intelligence as a skill. And we will see the practical implementation and as well as practices for staying emotionally intelligent. Okay, let's start now. So emotional intelligence is crucial for success in the workplace. So let us understand why it is so. What are all the learning objectives? Build deep understanding of emotional intelligence and its impact on personal and organizational success. Develop self-awareness, self-regulation strategies to manage emotions effectively. Enhance empathy and social awareness for better workplace relationships. Strengthen relationship management, influence, and leadership presence using emotional intelligence. Discuss a workable definition of emotional intelligence in leadership and team building. Really important, friends. Next one is the key part, understanding the 5 domains of emotional intelligence. Develop an EQ action plan as a follow-up and create a personal EA action plan for sustained application at work. It's quite interesting, isn't it? So let's move on. Why emotional intelligence is the most desired skill set? So I would like to show some statistics around it. Just give me a minute. Here we go. So emotional intelligence market is expected to grow by 25.2% between 22 and 2030. In the next 5 years, emotional intelligence is one of the sought after skill sets. The demand for emotional skills is projected to increase 26%. This is from McKinsey. And these are all quite a few statistics. Emotional intelligence predicts 67% of the leadership effectiveness, making it a crucial attribute for effective management. And we have the top performers, those who are having EQ was 90%. Employees with the empathetic leaders report increase in creativity by 61%. Employees with empathetic leaders report an increase in engagement by 76%. So these are some of the statistics. On the next one, country-wise, who is believing that the emotional intelligence will become a must-have skill because all your tech and automation is getting replaced with AI. India stands on the top of the list with 95% feeling that emotional intelligence is a must-have skill. And China follows with 90%, US with 82%, Italy with 77%, Netherlands with 73%, Spain with 70%, and so on. Friends, this statistic shows the importance of emotional intelligence. All right. The greatest benefit of having employees with high emotional intelligence, increased motivation, according to the HR managers, they will have 43%. Improved leadership is 21%. Better collaboration is 19%. Effective conflict resolution is 16%. Amazing. Why we develop emotional intelligence. More than 50% of the employees lack the motivation to keep learning and improving, which is really dangerous for an organization as well as a personal growth, right? 4 in 10 people cannot work cooperatively. They are always trying to be individual contributors. If there is no collaboration, cooperation, then definitely the desired results will not be met, right? 70% of all change initiatives fail because of people issues. Why? Inability to lead, lack of teamwork, unwillingness to take initiative, and inability to deal with the change. All are related to the emotional intelligence. Why emotional intelligence is important in workplace? This builds trust and connection. Unless otherwise you build rapport, things will not happen as expected. Enhances decision making. Why? Because you will not be taking any emotional decisions. You will have control over your emotions and look at the facts for decision making. Drives motivation and engagement, improves communication and collaboration, obviously, strengthens adaptability, boosts team performance, shapes positive organizational culture, which is really important for the organization to perform as a whole. Okay, there are a few ways to display emotional intelligence in the workplace. Recognize and understand emotions of others, empathy, we are going to see in detail. Embrace empathy, champion growth and learning, practice active listening, cultivate flexibility. If you could see your brain and your heart should work together in order to be emotionally intelligent. Let us look at Peter principle. And you must be wondering how it is related to emotional quotient. We can use emotional quotient and emotional intelligence uh, uh, in alternatives because both represent the same thing. So Peter principle says people are promoted based on tenure or their success in the previous role, irrespective of their capacity to excel in the new position. What does it mean? You can be technically sound, you can be functionally sound. Based on your performance, you have got promotions to promotion and you have come to the top. And you are seen as a failure there. Why? Over the time, individual hold positions they are not fully equipped to handle, as the primary skill set is to handle people appropriately, for which EQ is important. The leaders who got promoted and reached the top, definitely they need emotional intelligence for handling the people around them, for getting better results. The technical experts can become a poor boss. It does not mean that a person who is technically sound or functionally sound can be a good boss. So, emotional intelligence is directly being represented with the Peter principle here. Okay, let us listen to a story now. Just give me a minute. Yeah, let's continue. I'll tell you a short story of a calm captain. In a busy corporate office, team was under immense pressure to meet a tight project deadline. So obviously, when there is a pressure, the tensions are high. The conflicts are happening frequently between the members because there is no clarity. And what will happen? The client will start escalating. Now, there is a team leader called Sam. Notice the growing frustration. Instead of reacting to the stress himself, He paused for a moment, took a few deep breaths, and observed the team members' emotions. What were the emotions? Some were anxious, few were frustrated, and most of them seemed disengaged. This is not a good scenario when you are going to deliver a project on time, right? So Sam called a quick team meeting. Then he told his people, I can see this project has everyone stressed. Let us reflect. Let us take a moment to share what is bothering us and what we need to get through this together. It's a very important perspective. So then each member started voicing their concerns. Some listened to them attentively, acknowledging their feelings without any judgment. He then helped the team prioritize the tasks, reassign the workloads, distributed fairly, and suggested short breaks in order to refresh and recharge. By the end of the month, the project was completed successfully. The team felt supported, understood, and motivated. And they respected Sam for not only his managerial skills, but for his ability to stay calm, empathetic, and solution focused, even under pressure. What are the lessons we are learning from this story? Self awareness. Sam recognized his own stress and controlled his initial reaction. Self regulation. He stayed calm and composed, and he avoided escalations. Social awareness, which is nothing but empathy. He observed and understood the team's emotions. Relationship management. He facilitated a constructive conversation, built trust, and motivated the team. So what is the key takeaway from this story? Emotional intelligence isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about recognizing, understanding, and channelizing the team to create a positive outcome. So these are all the pillars of emotional intelligence. We are just going ahead and then understanding in detail. So you can see in the picture Mr. Daniel Goldman, who is the father of emotional intelligence framework. What he is stating, self-awareness, understanding yourself, your strengths and weaknesses, and how to appear to others, how you appear to others. Self-regulation, the ability to control yourself and think before you act. Empathy, how well you understand the people's viewpoints. What is the level of social skills you have and communicating and relating to the others. And finally, the motivation, the drive to work and then succeed. These are all the frameworks, the pillars of emotional intelligence as defined by Mr. Daniel Goleman. The relationship determine who owns the future. Very important, friends. Please note. Successful organizations hire based on EQ competencies. And of course, they need IQ as well. But EQ is also being looked at one of the primary competencies, not only for the leaders, but also for the team. Let's go ahead. Let us understand what is emotional quotient versus IQ. IQ is an ability to think, gets through the school, not possible to raise the IQ level because you are born with some IQ levels and cannot be learned. Let us look at EQ. EQ is the ability to feel. EQ gets through life. EQ can be raised by practice, and EQ is a skill which can be learned. Let us understand. Having understood what are all the pillars of emotional intelligence and why the emotional intelligence is really important for the leaders as well as the team, let us now understand the EQ gremlins. What do you mean by gremlins? These are all the glitches are the inhibitors which are preventing people from being emotionally intelligent. Let us look at the 7 gremlins. The first one is the impulse gremlin. This gremlin thrives on reactivity. It hijacks your emotions, causing you to respond impulsively instead of intentionally. If somebody asks you a question, you respond in a hurry. So I spoke before I thought. This is what is the impulse gremlin. This is definitely an inhibitor for emotional intelligence. And what is the remedy? Pause, take a breath, reflect before reacting. Very important, friends. Next one is the ego gremlin. I must always be right. This gremlin feeds on pride and defensiveness. It blocks empathy and prevents learning from feedback. So ego is not allowing you to learn things. What is the remedy? Practice humility and active listening. Seek to understand before being understood. Next is fear. What if I fail or if I get judged? This is a typical leadership gremlin. I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be questioned. Fear reduces risk taking and emotional openness. What if it goes wrong? It keeps you in a comfort zone and limits authentic leadership. What is the remedy? Reframe fear as feedback, focus on progress and not on perfection. Next is the blame gremlin. It's not my fault. Always, we will say that others are only done wrong. We have been always perfect. This gremlin shifts responsibility outward, eroding the accountability and trust. What happens if you start blaming everyone always? Then nobody will approach you. What is the remedy? Adopt an ownership mindset on your own emotions, actions, and outcome. Please own things. This is my fault. I will try to improve. I am the owner for this. I take responsibility. These are all some of the remedies for the blame gremlin. Next one is really important. It is an avoidant gremlin. So if you are not able to face anyone, what will you do? You avoid, right? Let us not talk about it. So you are avoiding this. Avoidance prevents difficult but necessary conversations. It keeps issues simmering under the surface. What is the remedy? Build emotional courage, face uncomfortable emotions early and respectfully. Next one is the judgment. We are always judgmental against people, right? So we define people too quickly without even understanding them completely. They should know this better. Judging others harshly narrows empathy and increases bias. Eventually, what is the remedy? Replace judgment with curiosity and ask what might be driving this behavior. Very important. Next is the comparison gremlin. They are doing better than me. Always we compare others. In this world, every creature, every creation by God has got its own purpose, its own flavors, its own colors, its own characteristics. So the comparison causes a very big inhibition for emotional intelligence. Comparison fuels insecurity and resentment, harming emotional imbalance or harming emotional balance. It is creating emotional imbalance. Remedy: always practice gratitude and self acceptance. Say thank you. Measure against your growth and not against other growth. Always see that how you have grown from yesterday and today. All right. So, how to tame your gremlins? First, name them. Just be aware of what all the gremlins are bothering you. Awareness reduces this power. Notice their triggers. Identify when they show up. So, identify very clearly under what circumstances you are comparing, what circumstances you are impulsive, under what circumstances you are not listening. Notice the triggers. Neutralize them. Use self-talk, reflection, or coaching to reframe them. Nurture empathy. It is your strongest weapon against emotional sabotage. So, emotional intelligence is not about being perfect. It is about being aware, especially when your EQ gremlins start whispering. So, there are some areas we will drill down in detail now. Now, the first important aspect is self-assessment. So, you need to ask yourself, how often do I recognize my emotions as they occur? Can I identify the triggers behind my emotional reactions? Am I really aware of how my mood affects others? Do I understand my strengths, weaknesses, and values? Do I reflect regularly on my emotional patterns? This self assessment gives you the self awareness. You will be aware of your strengths and weaknesses, reflective, learn from experience, open to feedback, seek continuous learning and self development. Next one is on the emotional awareness. When are you calm? When are you happy? When are you strong? When are you angry? When are you scared? When are you sad? Recognize which emotions you are feeling. Become aware of the connection between your feelings, thoughts, and actions. Recognize how feelings affect performance and be guided by values. Next important thing is empathy. Empathy starts with self-awareness, the ability to see things from others' point of view. Always put yourself into others' shoes. You can recall some of the same feelings if you are putting yourself into other shoes. According to Goldman, empathy represents the foundation skill for all the social competencies important for work. Very important, friends. Understanding others, service orientation, developing others, leveraging diversity and political awareness are really important ingredients of empathy. Few examples I can give on empathetical conversations. How do you feel about reaching this milestone? I can see you that you have put through into this idea. Let's discuss what worked well in your approach and what constraints we are facing this time. So you are trying to get into other shoes. Next one. I am curious about that. Let us discuss in detail, more in depth. Let me see if I understand you correctly. Here is what I heard you say. That means I have listened you, I hear you, but I need to understand more. So you are creating a space for the other person or the other team member or your subordinate to talk to you clearly, express themselves. Self-regulation is the next one. What are all the ingredients? Pause and breathe. Identify the triggers and cognitive reframing. This is what we have seen already. Can I stay calm under pressure or in a stressful situation? How effectively do I control impulsive reactions? Do we adapt easily to changing circumstances or unexpected challenges? These are all really the self-regulation areas. Next important thing is social awareness. Can I accurately read others' emotions through verbal and non-verbal conversations? How well do I understand perspectives different from my own? Whether I am saying always no to others' perspectives, whether I'm always against, all these things we need to understand. Do I notice the emotional climate in teams or meetings? What is their body language say? Is it acceptance or is it rejection? They are fond of me or not fond of me? That we need to be aware. Am I sensitive to cultural, personality, and situational differences? How am I treating them without any bias, which is social awareness? Very important. Can I identify when someone needs support or encouragement? These are all some of the aspects of social awareness. Then comes the relationship management. Do I communicate clearly, respectfully and constructively? Can I resolve conflict effectively without escalating tension? Do I give feedback in a way that encourages growth? Can I build and maintain trust in a professional relationship? These things are really important for personal management or relationship management. The next one is motivation. There is a saying that I can is 100 times more important than IQ. I can is 100 times more important than IQ. Am I self-motivated to achieve goals beyond external rewards? Can I maintain optimism and resilience in the face of challenges? Do I set personal growth objectives and track progress? How persistent I am when I am pursuing long-term goals? These are all some of the aspects of motivation which we need to understand ourselves as leaders and as team members. How do we do that? Where do we stand on emotional intelligence? What is the degree currently we have, and whether how much we have to improve, how much we have to learn, how much we have to practice? You assess the current situation. What is the current challenge that leads to emotional tension? Can be plural as well. Challenges that leads to emotional tensions. What feelings does the situation trigger? What all the thoughts trigger those feelings? What positive outcome can be generated? So if you assess the current situation, these are all the important self-reflections which will give you the right answers for you where you have to improve. After analysis, even if you feel that you are a person with low EQ, you can definitely be a one with high EQ. We have the right solutions. That's a good news for you. Top recommendations for developing your EI. Become emotionally literate. Label your feelings rather than labeling people or situations. Don't look at people or situations. Label your feelings. Distinguish between thoughts and feelings. What you think and how do you behave. Don't advise, command, or control, or criticize, or judge, or always lecture to others. Otherwise, what will happen? People will run away the moment you enter. Oh my goodness, this guy will do a lecture for 1 hour. Yeah, हमारा बस का नहीं है. Take more responsibility for your feelings. Use your feelings to help making decisions. Use feeling to set and achieve goals. Feel energized, not angry. Validate other people's feelings. Avoid people who invalidate you. How the team should be effective. Help each other. Look for ways to make new ideas work. Don't look at the negativity of why it will not work. If in doubt, check it out. Don't assume negatively. Help each other to win and take pride in smaller wins. Speak positively about each other. Maintain a positive mental attitude, no matter what the circumstances are. Do everything with enthusiasm. It is contagious. When I ask you, how are you feeling today? It is contagious, right? You also start feeling positive. Whatever you want, give it away. Very important. It is always give and take. Don't lose faith. And very important, never give up. Suggested action plan for improving emotional intelligence. Whatever the questions I have posted, rate yourself. Create a catalog of questions on self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, social awareness, relationship, motivation, and rate yourself 1 to 5 on this each question. That will give you where do you stand very clearly. Identify the strengths and areas of improvement. Reflect on patterns over the last 3 to 6 months. Historical analysis. Create a personal EA development plan focusing on weak areas. identify 3 strengths, 3 growth areas, develop a plan to improve a specific skill, move action forward with a coach or a trainer. Emotional intelligence is therefore an ability to understand the need and feelings of oneself and other people, manage one's own feelings, respond in an appropriate way. So, are you ready to transform to be emotionally intelligent? Yes. I'm Sitaraman Raghavasubramanian, a trusted partner in your learning journey. I can do 1 day, 3 day, 5 day emotional intelligence workshops and also the developmental interventions on the training evolution and continuous growth path. Thank you very much. Happy learning. Be emotionally intelligent. Thank you.